Welcome to the Relatable Debatable Podcast. My name's Julie Veljic, and I've got my very, very good friend, Alfanso Hernandez, today, and we are going to talk about sober dating, amongst other things. But before I really jump into it, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here, Julie.
I'm so excited for you to be here.
Yeah. I was taking the elevator up here, and I was like, whoa, 12th floor? Big
12th
time.
floor, big time. Well, you know, I'm a big deal. I try to be a big deal.
Yeah. No, you are.
Yeah. But tell me, like, in general, like, are you single? What's your status? Where are we at on that?
I am single.
I feel like you stuttered there. Is there a situationship on the horizon?
Oh, wow. Already picking up on weaknesses. Wow, man. I did not come with enough armor for this. This is exciting. There is a girl I'm talking to right now, but definitely nowhere near serious. But I am single.
Like, if she sees this episode and she hears you say nowhere near serious, would she
be offended?
Yeah.
She would be offended only because she's Latina. And Latinas love to be like, motherfucker's mine. You know what I mean?
She staked her claim.
Yeah, 100%. Like I met her at the stand. I'm not going to say anything else actually, but she does work there, and
she works there.
Yeah.
Oh, so you shit where you sleep?
No, actually,
What is the saying?
No. Yeah, well, I decided to split ways with the stand, so it's all good.
Oh, I didn't realize you were not at the stand anymore.
Yeah, just this 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was on good terms.
Good terms, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still bartend? For context, those watching, Alfonso used to be a bartender at the stand. Mm-hmm. Are you still bartending?
Yeah, just getting people drunk, ready for laughs.
Yeah.
I am going to still do it just a little bit on the side, but thankfully comedy's doing good enough to where, I don't have to full-time it. So
nice.
Yeah. Which is nice. I've been doing it for almost 10 years, so
damn.
It's good to take a little bit of a breather,
And since the topic is sober dating and sober in general, like, how long have you been sober now?
I've been sober on 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
And is it just alcohol? Like, do you smoke weed?
No, not Cali sober. I'm full sober.
Full sober, all the things.
Yeah.
But you used to do all the things.
Oh, I used to do all the things and more. Bed Bath and Beyond. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What was there like one moment that triggered being sober, or was it more or less like reflection on a series of moments?
It was definitely over time. Like it's something that got worse progressively. I couldn't, just chill. Like, I didn't know what just chilling was. I even came to New York for bartending because I made it so much of my identity. Yeah. Like, teaching at a bartending school and, really being like, I know so much about cocktails and that's just who I am, so cool. And then, just not really realizing that I was just dependent on it, So it was a pretty wild thing for me to come to realization with. So it wasn't like I was, I don't know. Some people I feel like there's others that can take a really, really hit a really hard bottom, but I just realized I couldn't really progress further than what I had gotten to if I didn't put it away. So yeah. Yeah,
that's fair. I feel like for me personally, you said something about like drinking and bartending becoming part of your identity. That's something I'm personally struggling with because drinking and partying is definitely part of my identity. And you're like, I'm crazy. Well, I am.
You are just naturally.
I'm just naturally wild.
Yeah, the way you sense my weakness in the beginning.
Well, no, I pick up on things. But very quickly.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, but yeah.
No, I feel that and it's interesting because I've had to change my relationship with alcohol because I had the gastric sleeve a year ago. So the volume I can drink, I lost 120 pounds. So even though I had the biggest of tolerances, I haven't completely figured out my relationship with alcohol since then. But giving it up wasn't hard for me because post-surgery, I wasn't allowed to drink for 5 months. But what I didn't realize is how many people only want to drink with me. And I don't know if you noticed that in your friend group and if there are certain people who kind kind of like fizzled out when you stopped?
For sure, the entire service industry fizzled out.
But not comedy.
Yeah, not comedy. Thankfully, that comedy is actually one of the biggest pillars of the beginning of my sobriety. I was at a mic and was just talking about how I was struggling, but trying to make light of it. So I'm sober, for a month, and it sucks, and I'm just not funny. It just looked sad.
Yeah, it was just sad.
And this dude was like, "Yo, you need some help, man." And he actually helped me out. But yeah, service industry, everybody. I won't say everybody, that is in the service industry is an alcoholic, but everyone in the service industry is an alcoholic.
People like to drink. I used to take when I bartended. I used to take shots.
Oh yeah,
behind the bar.
Oh, it gets so chill. It's crazy. You could just be like, well, just throw a little gin in this.
Or you put it in one of the to-go cups.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a thing for me in college. Yeah. I would say and depends on who you ask. Some people might say I still have a problem, but I would say I really had a problem when I was in college. I like to think that I've matured and it's not as much of a problem. But there was a point when I would go on dates where I would show up wasted.
Yeah.
And then I'd go to the bar because I knew the bartender, even though I'm sitting at a table with a man who's trying to order a meal, and then he just left. He's like, I'm not going to do this. But curious, when it comes to trying to date, do you try to meet people who are also sober?
I definitely am not trying to do that right now, just because I'm still pretty early in my sobriety. I want to make it my entire life. In terms of how long, because people love to ask me that, how long are you planning on doing this?
And you're like, this is life choice,
this
life
is
decision.
Me. Yeah. So right now I'm just getting to scratching the surface of dating and how that is, So definitely right now I'm not imposing. I'm not sitting down with somebody all right, so I'm sober, and if you're not, get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just. Do you
bring it up though? If a girl, I feel like you get hit as a bartender at a very busy comedy club for a while, despite parting ways. I feel women always. I feel like women proactively flirted with you.
Yeah. As a bartender in general, I've been doing it for a while.
It doesn't matter the location.
No, yeah. Girls love to get tipsy and spit game.
Okay, to that, and how many numbers would you get? Is it consistent where you would say you got a number or an Instagram, I guess? Honestly, day?
Yeah, so probably a couple a week.
Couple a week.
Yeah. Not every day, for sure. There are girls that would bat their lashes and be like, "Is he gonna say something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm at work." You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. They do like to get a little comfortable and leave their numbers. I think it's cute. I think it's adorable.
Do you do anything with the numbers?
No.
No,
what am I gonna do? That's
text.
I don't know. Normally I just find it flattering. I'm just oh, this is nice. It's such a weird dynamic to meet someone while I'm at work,
Yeah.
And then afterwards they're just they expect me to be just as open and charismatic as I am when I'm working. But sometimes I like to just chill, especially with comedy too. I'll get off stage and people will be like, "Oh, can I have your number?" Blah blah blah. And it's cool, but it's also they have this expectation of what my personality is going to be because I'm kind of on when they see me. So as opposed to dating in general, I like to just chill a little bit.
For sure.
And they'll be like, "What's wrong?" Or is something wrong? Is there an issue?
Is it me?
Do you not and I'm like, no, I'm just not really trying to entertain you right now.
Yeah. And I actually think that's kind of unfair because it's one thing to be on the dating apps because obviously people are on dating apps. There's an intention of trying to date. But if you're at work or you're at a comedy show and then people are trying to hit you up, they don't know if you want to even date. So or if you're even actually that interested. Right? It's flattering, of course, and everybody loves to take a compliment, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't mean it's gonna I feel like everybody's is it a meet cute?
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. But I definitely don't ever get I always find it very pleasant. And I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I'm oh, it's fucking, they're in my way or something, I think it's really brave when girls do it. They're always so bashful about it. They're like,
Oh, I was
You
not.
know?
I was never bashful about it.
Oh, you were like,
no, I was in it. I was.
Hey, honey.
Well, no.
I feel like that's your vibe. You're like,
Not hey, honey.
hey,
I, like,
sweet cheeks.
First of all, I have better game than that. Okay. Actually, I don't know if I have better game
what do you
than
call
that.
the guys? Sugar tits?
And I'm like, hey, you come here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm partially paying your rent right now.
Okay.
What does it look like for us to combine those rents?
Okay.
And I like go right in. No, a lot of times, like my approach.
Sugar mama angle? So I can
Kind of.
buy you. Anyways.
I'm gonna buy you. But even in college, I wasn't buying anybody. I had I was using student loan money to act like I had it, and it was not real.
Yeah.
But no, I think first of all, I always had a thing for bartenders.
Oh, okay.
And to you're making them calm down.
Where's this
You're
going?
too young for me. But one of the things I noticed is like the thing that I like about bartenders is one, you're always catering to me. Mm-hmm. To your point, you're charismatic, you're on, you're in the service industry.
Yes.
And a lot of times, to your point, like I think I misread it. But then I later learned I didn't misread it because I wasn't getting all the free stuff, and I later learned sometimes there was interest. I'm finding this out years later.
Yeah.
But in the moment, how I got a bartender's attention is I always showed up on particular days.
Yes.
If I knew Tuesdays were dead.
Yeah.
Tuesdays from 2 to 5 before happy hour were dead.
You had a whole strategy.
Oh, I had a whole strategy.
Game plan.
I wanted to because I want to get deep because I get people to open up to me.
Yeah.
So then they're starting to drop oh, my mom was never really around and my ex-girlfriend this. And then all of a sudden we have this connection and you're now you've let your walls down. Now you're not a bartender who's just charming. You're now you feel like you have a friendship and a rapport with me. To be this, I was not hitting on you, but I would come. Hey, I did a lot of that with you too.
Yeah.
But I do that when I'm also trying to bring somebody into my life.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but in college and even in my 20s, that was a lot of my approach is I always try to lay on the charm. I always try to get people to open up to me. And
it sounds like it would maneuver. It sounds like you had I
had a strategy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which is, in terms of that's honestly, I think it's really smart one too because there's many times where that's happened and I didn't even think of maybe the person that's coming to see me is strategizing this. I'm just they see that I did it slow, so they're just gonna come in on this day. I'm not trying to make you sound crazy.
I feel like you are. And I'm realizing that this has come up now multiple episodes where I talk about strategy. I will say there was a point in time where I would actually plan these things out. Now it just happens because I'm just so used to doing it. Yeah. It happens organically, and I'm not just now it's not a strategy. Now it's just how I operate.
Yeah.
But I realize the more I say it, people are is all she's ever doing is manipulating me, and I'm not trying to, but
I wouldn't say it's manipulation. I just say it's strategy. It's you just to get to know someone better. You get to the part in times where they're willing to have deeper conversations.
Exactly.
This is definitely not something where you're it's trying to change someone's reality. I think that's manipulation. I think you're just finding time when you want someone, you go get them, you know, and that's really cool. And I think I've definitely fallen victim to a couple of girls like that.
Did you ever I feel like you had regulars that were women.
Yeah. No, I have one right now that's DMing me where are you? Why aren't you at the stands? You're normally here Tuesday nights,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I went to the stand on Tuesday and you were not there.
Yeah.
And I was and I think we had just exchanged numbers, so I was gonna be oh, is he there? And I was he's probably there.
Yeah.
You were not. And
No
it's
more.
okay.
Yeah.
No mas.
Yeah. But it's fine. I'm gonna. Go ahead.
No, but in terms of okay, so you're not trying to dive into dating, but you're in a a non. But I mean, boys got needs.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Not to get really into it, but what's it like to just have sober sex? Because I feel the first time you typically and maybe this is just for me, but the first time I would typically have sex with somebody I'm not sober.
Yeah. I will say it was a learning curve for sure. For sure. Especially because the first girl that I actually started talking to and like hooking up with, because I'm not just like a guy that'll like, I won't give it up quick. All right.
Noted.
Yeah.
What is not giving it up quick?
I value myself. Okay.
Well, hold on. Let's define what's not giving it up quick.
Well, I gotta get to know you. I gotta get to know the girl. I gotta get to really like
know how, like what, after a day or two, couple weeks.
I think it's like at least a month.
A month.
Yeah.
You will talk to somebody a month before sleeping with them.
Yeah. And then it's always funny.
Were you always that way?
No.
Okay.
No, just I think with being sober and everything, that's where I've gotten to. Because when I was drunk, it was just hookups, and I always felt terrible because then I had to break off this thing that now happened because we hooked up, and now there's a bond, there's a sexual bond between us. But I never really liked them or their personality in the first place. So then I was the dick for being like, I don't like you as a person. Like, that's messed up. So now I'm like, no, I gotta let's get to the bottom of whether or not this is gonna be a mature conversation. So that way, because I right now I'm nowhere near to be ready to have a relationship. Yeah. So when I'm talking to these girls, I'm kind of like, hey, like let me let you understand that I am willing to see this through, but also I'm not ready right now for a commitment. You know.
Oh, so you do tell people?
Oh yeah, I'm very open with that. So but the first girl I did date, it was really interesting because we were going out for a month, and even she was just like, I don't want to go into it too fast. And when we did actually have sex, was wild because we both have a lot of experience. That's just basically saying we're both sluts.
I was just gonna say,
but we both have very different expectations for each other, and I think because I don't know, I'm a large Hispanic man. She expected me to be like this, like fucking beast, you know what I mean? To I'm not saying I'm a little flower, but I'm not aggressive. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess I didn't think that either. Well, actually, I take that back. I think you are a passionate lover.
Yeah.
And you are like very maybe romanticize it a bit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Okay. Well, now you got clues.
Fair. But I wouldn't have said you're like, yeah, let's do this in a handicapped bathroom.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, that's cool. The location is dope. I love location. Let's get that. We'll do it in a park. It's fine. But I'm when it comes to the choking or stuff she wanted me to not just dirty talk. She wanted to have a dirty, dialogue. She wanted us to screenwrite this shit. And being sober is so hard because when I'm drunk, I'm like, I'll fucking be whatever you want, baby. Yeah. I'll slap you around whenever you want, whips and chains. I don't care because I'm so go with the flow. I'm more of a people pleaser when I drink.
Got it.
I'll be whatever you want me to be because I don't care.
Yeah.
But when I'm sober, I have more boundaries because I want to feel comfortable within myself in my own skin. So when it came to that, and she wanted me to do everything, she specifically wanted me to say things to her.
She told you. Okay, wait, hold on. Can we rewind a second? So before you go, did you have a conversation before having sex?
She did. We actually did because we were building tension in some dates, and we wouldn't hook up. We were just still no, let's not have sex and all that stuff. But we were making out and doing all the things, right? And she's like, when we do, she's like, I want you to what did she say? She said, she's like, I want you to tell me how much. She's like, can I say it?
Yeah,
she was like, yeah. She's like, I want you to tell me how I'm gonna deep throat your cock afterwards, and she's like, how I can just take it, and basically just kind of I don't know if this is a daddy position, but kind of just talk her through it, I guess.
Yeah.
And which was I was like, okay, this is cool, but I'm very specific though. You're telling me word for word what you want me to say. Yeah. I've never had this much direction.
Script.
Yeah. It's just I felt like an actor, And then she was like, and I want it in this specific way. When I'm about to come, I want you to be on top and choking me and and saying these things, and I could not stay hard when it came to it because I was playing this character, you know what I mean? She's puppeting me,
Yeah.
And being sober, I'm like, I cannot.
That was your first
Yeah,
Your
that was the
first
first
oh
girl
my
to like,
God.
yeah.
So you had to have, it was extreme.
Yeah, I guess. And now it's like, oh, I'm chilling now. Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. No, but I will say, like, obviously, I did not perform well that time.
But I feel like the first time in general, the performance may not be there. I can't imagine sober.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he's sober or drunk before I was sober. I thought myself good in bed. So this was like trying to reaffirm that. So I was really trying to give her what she wanted. But yeah, no. And then because she couldn't get to completion, I was like, I'm not going to come then. I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'm not going to get hard again just for me to finish. Like, that's such a dick. I was like, no, we're done here. I was like, we'll run it back next week.
Try us again.
Let's set a date. All right, Tuesday, 3 p.m. We're going to meet back here. I'm going to memorize my lines and I'm going to fucking perform.
I am here.
I have arrived.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. I feel like I would say like 3-ish months ago, I had sober sex.
Okay.
With somebody new.
Okay.
For the first time. And I can't tell you I couldn't even tell you the last time I did that with somebody brand new for the first time. And it being like the first time not first time sober with the person, but like first time with that person. And I didn't realize how awkward sex can be.
Yeah.
We hit heads. He got a bloody nose. I was like, I don't know if chemistry's there. Like,
holy shit.
I was like, I don't know if I want to do this sober ever again.
You hit heads? That's wild. What were you doing?
Well, I was like trying to get on top, and then he came up, and we went like this, and then the nose, and I had white sheets, and then my dog's like, and I'm like, oh my God, can you like not be involved?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
It was a thing.
That's wild.
And I also don't know if it was awkward because he was 26. That's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've ever even been with anybody that young. I've never gone on a date with somebody younger than me ever.
Wow. So that was like a lot of firsts.
It was a lot of firsts in one. So I don't know if to blame it on the age.
Yeah. You can blame it on
the sobriety. Blame it on what?
Yeah.
But
there's a lot you can scapegoat your way out of.
100%. But it was also so awkward.
Also, I don't feel like there is blame to be thrown.
No.
You know, I think that's just something that naturally happens. But also, I mean, I'm surprised that, like, did you guys keep going after you knocked heads? Like, the blood was out of his dick and
onto the sheets. He got real soft fast.
If he stayed hard through that, dude, fucking A.
Well, he was a pharmacy student. So he may have had the drugs to do it. But the reason, like, he couldn't, like, we weren't drinking or whatever is because he had to go to work that day.
Okay.
Or he had to go, like, work.
I see.
Yeah, it was part of the reason I said, like, did you guys talk about it leading into it? And it sounds like you, on your dates, you, like, had alluded to, like, things that you, like.
Yeah, we did.
With him, and I appreciated this about him, and that's why I think he, like, made it to date 3, is, like, we didn't really talk about sex. Usually people bring that up before I even meet them.
Yeah.
They want to, like, let's just get right to it. I don't know what it is. For whatever reason, people think I'm a dominatrix. They don't even know me. I feel like if they knew me, I would get it. But, like, you don't know me. There's no reason for you to assume that. I don't think me holding an espresso martini in my dating profile says that's a dominatrix. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
really? You get a lot of that?
So much,
do you enjoy a little bit of it? Or no? How do you feel?
Full transparency, I hate that it's happened so often.
You like to much rather, like, if anything, you look the contrary now. You like to submit.
I want to be submissive because I would say I'm dominant in my everyday life.
Yes.
I want to be submissive. People don't believe me when I say that. But truthfully, when it comes to, like, sex, like, I want it even, right? You can be dominant.
Yeah,
I can be,
like, switch.
I want to switch. I don't want it to be one way or another. Yeah. But I feel like there was a point in time when only, like, extremely dominant men would, like, approach me, or the opposite, or extremely submissive, like, and I'm talking like some shit of I want you to pee on me.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I want you to choke me. I want you to insult me.
Not ridiculous. I'm not judging kinks.
No,
not
no,
kink shaming. But it's a lot to bring onto someone, especially with what you said earlier, that these guys would just open with this. Like to
Every
cold
time.
open with, hey, urinate on me? That's crazy.
No, like I was actually talking to Elisa about this 2 days ago, where. So I've been doing the Maxim stuff. I've been trying to become Maxim's next cover girl model, and with that, Maxim like reposts.
Oh, I saw
you.
those. Those look amazing. Maxim
reposts you, so my following count went up by like 2,000.
Wow,
because of this.
That's great.
And by the way, I'm not like doing this because I want to be this like thirst trap on a magazine. One, it's a good credit if I can get
Great
it,
credit.
right?
Yeah.
Two, the exposure and the following I was down for.
1000%.
Like
Get those numbers up.
I got a random DM and someone's like, "Have you considered? Would you ever enter this?" And I was like, why not? But with that, I think one of my biggest frustrations, and it's not like this is new, but the volume is new. The volume of people who message me, and they're not like just messaging me like, "Oh, you're hot." They're messaging me like, "Oh, I want you to choke on my dick. I want to choke you.
Jesus.
I want to like slap your tits, bite your ass."
Whoa.
Like, and it's like right out the gate.
Dang.
So, and in part of the reason I bring this up is like, if I was drunk getting these, I probably wouldn't care as much because I'm probably more promiscuous and down for it.
Yeah.
But like getting it at like 6 a.m. on a Sunday,
it's crazy. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not even in the mindset for this. Like, I don't even know how to get there. And that's why I was asking, like, with like I guess like, is foreplay more of a thing sober?
100%. 100%. I think you go back to being in your high school days, and it sounds awful to some because high school was terrible, but it's also a little like beautiful. Like I think it's really exciting to just. I just had a friend tell me yesterday he went on a date with this girl that I told him to talk to. We were both barking on the street, and I told him to talk to that girl, and he didn't. He still found someone to get her Instagram and then messaged her.
Do I know this person?
Zach.
No.
Okay, but I forget his last name, but he's a great comic. Anyways, so he got her Instagram, whatever, and then they went on a date, and he's like, "Oh, I just came back from her date," and I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome! Did you kiss her?" And I said that in the green room of a comedy club, and the immediate clowning began. Like, "What are you in fucking middle school, bro? Fucking asking if you kissed her?" And I was like, "Dude, bro, like that is the funnest part of the date."
I agree.
When you're not like drinking like that, I mean, I feel like it slows it down so much because when you're sober, you're like, "I'm not gonna have sex with you right now. I don't even know you."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's almost like an insane thing to.
Well, you're so much more self-aware.
Unless you have like crazy chemistry and there's fireworks and you're like, "Oh, let's get the fuck out of here." You know what I mean? Then all right, but. It's really, if you're a normal two people, a kiss is probably the best scenario. You know what I mean? That's, hey, it's going well. We're going to do another date, right? And he was like actually really happy about that. But it's crazy that I'm coming back to this reality of like, yo, it goes much slower when you're sober. It goes a lot and it's awesome because once you do get to the sex part, it's a lot more natural. Like, sure, there's like bumps on the road. You get to, you have to get to know the other person. But if you have a dialogue, bump noses, bleeding noses, whatever. But if you have a communication, like, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, while you're still kind of like, doing foreplay, like making out, just on the couch, watching a movie, whatever. It's like way more well deserved. Like, I feel like. I think.
Yeah.
I have way less regret when it happens. I don't even have any regret when it happens.
Well, right.
Because I've been thinking about it. This has been like, you know what I mean?
I've been manifesting this moment.
I've already come to the conclusion of this is someone I want to sleep with, as opposed to just being so used. I was such a slut.
Zero quality, just volume.
Literally, it was, It's, I don't want to get to the body count.
Well, we don't. Okay, so to that end, like now, like what do you? Because you're sober, you're more self-aware of like when you're talking to these women, and what are you looking for? What does it take? Like, what are the boxes these girls need to check?
I think really good emotional intelligence for sure.
Okay.
I really appreciate that, and I think a little bit of own self-confidence, like that stuff that they can, like, I can joke around with them and they'll be cool. And also just really good at establishing boundaries and just, you know, this is where I'm at and I won't have someone, you know, try to take advantage of that, because not that I'm a manipulator, but I think I can get away with a lot. And it's always nice to have someone be like, hey, I know we haven't really spoken about this, but I see it getting a little ahead of itself. So, you know, I want to.
So you almost want her to like push you off a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of rejection.
I want her to be like, calm down. You know what I mean? Because it's easy for me to be like, oh, okay, like we're just doing this now, and then not talk about it because it's more convenient for me to be like, well, we don't know what we are, you know? And then now she has feelings for me and now I don't. You know what I mean?
I actually remember we had a conversation when you were working one day about how you were saying a lot of times women tend to end up liking you more than you like them. Mm-hmm. But what I'm picking up on is when you say, like, when they have boundaries and they're pushing you off, it's almost like they're giving you something to chase. It's like they're not just willing to just like let it all happen. Because I feel like if they were willing to be accommodating and do whatever, that's also an indicator that they're super into you. Where like setting that boundary and like it's almost like, I think it almost like makes you more interested.
100% it does. And it's also really a turn on for me to see when a girl wants to say yes to me, but is still being true to herself and being like, no, I have to do this. And I'm like, ooh, baby girl, damn.
So like, I guess, have you come across women who are like, I don't have sex till the third date type
Oh yeah,
thing?
and I laugh because I'm like, I have the most patience. like I'm like, you've met your final boss, because I don't mind. Like if anything, I want to see it. You know. Yeah. But I will say, I'm human still, and
obviously,
you know, and if I meet a beautiful girl and after a show or whatever, and
so if I meet a fan, and, you know, and she wants
I had
to
a
go
great
at
set,
it.
and we go hang out, and I still go to the bars after. You know, I have the non-alcoholic Guinness. Hits every time. The texture's amazing. Shout out non-alcoholic Guinness.
Shout out Diageo.
I'll have one of those. They'll be feeling me. Like, we'll make out at the bar. We go back to my place. You know, as long as I tell them, hey, like, I'm not looking for anything serious, you know, have that conversation, I think that's still something that can happen, and I'm not a purist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that I'm on my high horse, like, no, specifically, I'm only going to be, you know, that's where I'm building towards, and yeah, I communication is everything. You know, because I'm not going to just hook up with a girl and if she doesn't tell me what's going on. You know?
I mean, you sound like a dream today. It sounds like, I mean, you communicate. That doesn't happen often. But I also don't know. I feel like your definition of communication, I want to get one of these women on here to give me feedback on if that's true. Because I feel like guys are like, yeah, I communicate. I'm like, you do not.
No, yeah. I will say my track record and my sobriety of dating has been really good. Like, if you ask them, they'll be like, it was great, and I'm really sad that he stopped talking to me. Because like, that's...
Why did you stop talking? Was it getting too serious?
It was, and I'm still like, for me, this is just for me. My sobriety is recovery, like, because I think I'm an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic, and for me, I still haven't finished recovery. So
it's a lifelong thing.
Yeah, so I'm still managing with how much I want to give someone. You know, like, do I want to give them my entire self right now? Or what does it mean to be in a relationship? You know, because when I was drinking, it was everything. I'll give them everything. I'll be everything that they want me to be, but I'll lose myself in the process.
For sure.
So with sobriety, I'm kind of like learning myself and like what is enough for me to give to them. And it's tough to do it in the beginning, you know? So I was getting deeper and deeper in this relationship with this girl, the one actually that was wanted me to say stuff. And I was because we did run it back and it went great. Like,
then we recorded and we saw feedback.
We watched film and I was like, yeah, I liked
it's on Pornhub. You can find it now.
Yeah, no, it would have done numbers on Pornhub.
OnlyFans, what's up?
But no, and then we got so much better. Like it got a lot better. But I felt myself giving her everything again, and I couldn't reestablish where my values were again, like how much I'm supposed to give it to sobriety, to comedy, to everything else. So she was just a little bit too much on my plate.
Yeah.
So I did tell her I made a mistake. Like I told her to be exclusive. You know, I was only talking to her, right?
Yeah.
Almost boyfriend girlfriend, but I sound like such a middle schooler.
No, I'm about to like we're gonna pause for a second. And you're like, we're exclusive, almost boyfriend and girlfriend. What's the difference?
I told her the same thing. She's the one that actually wanted to do this. She was like, "Hey, let's be exclusive, but not actually say the title yet," because she was wanted a scapegoat. She wanted an exit without having to be like, "We're going through a breakup." She wanted yeah.
She was still gonna feel the feels.
Yeah,
sorry,
right?
girlfriend.
I know. I thought the same thing, but also I was like, you know what? This is good too because I'm being in sobriety, so might be better. So yeah, I did. You know, but I realized we couldn't get there because I'm not there yet I'm not fully formed for me to like set the boundaries, you know, set my own boundaries.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I ended it and I was like, we can still be friends. And then she's just like, okay, if that means gray area. I'm like, no gray area. We would just be friends. And she was just like, we'll think about it. And then we didn't talk for a month and when we met back up, we hung out, we went for coffee. And then she was like, are you sure not about gray area? And I was like, no, we're just.
Oh, so she's just trying to.
Yeah. And I was just like, no gray area. And she's like, then I can't talk to you. And I was like, okay.
I mean, fair on her. At least she knows.
And
at least she knew.
Yeah. And I was like, understandable. I know. And then she was just like, she's like, thank you for, you know, cutting it off before it got more serious. She's like, I was about to say I love you in like the next 2 months. Yeah. She was like, because she said she felt herself falling in love. So I was like, wow, I'm glad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I said, she would be sad. If she were here right now, she'd be like, yeah, he cut it off. But,
he broke my
heart.
But
I don't know.
Alfonso broke my heart.
No, I've definitely broken some hearts in terrible ways.
Yeah.
I've shattered some hearts, like by being not a good person. So trying to not
because
be that
of
guy.
Drinking, or just because you're not a good person.
Drinking makes me not a good person.
Yeah, drinking makes me a nightmare to date. I'm not gonna lie. I know that. Like honestly, my ex, his biggest issue with me, and in his mind, the reason we didn't work out was because of my drinking. As actually, it was less about the drinking and more about how my hangovers affected me. Mm-hmm. And how I'd like basically shut down, not leave the house for 3 days. I'd literally like order a dog walker, but like kick my dog out of the room, shut the door, and they don't know that I'm like in my room. Oh. So that they would take my dog for walks so I didn't have to leave the house.
Wow.
And his whole thing is like, you are this like ambitious, driven woman, but like you drink. And when I drink, you've served me, right? Like, you know.
I've had the pleasure.
You've had the pleasure of dealing with me. But like the hangovers are so bad. I also get depressed in my hangovers. So that's also partially, I have slowed down on drinking in general, but like that doesn't mean I want to stop. I've recognized.
Yeah.
But his biggest thing was, well, your lack of productivity or canceling plans, not going to commitments that we said we were going to do. And then even with work, I wouldn't do things. So then things would pile up and then I wouldn't go to, like I'd call out of a show for comedy.
Yes,
like
not being a woman of your word.
Yeah. Not being a woman. I basically became the worst version of myself in those days. And he hated it. Like he was like, I don't want to. And then he's created an insecurity in me now when it comes to like drinking and dating, which is why I've tried to like approach like dates and things that I've gone on. I'm not going to drink on it. I'm going to try and be sober, but I'm also realizing I'd rather not be here when I'm sober on the date.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible realization.
Like, the fact that I'd rather be alone and on my couch and not with you.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to be open-minded when I'm dating people because I had a type and I'm trying to be more open-minded. I'm not going to do the open-mindedness anymore.
I love that. You're like, no, I have a type.
Well, it's not even I have a type. It was more like I tried to like talk to a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And that if you ask anybody who knows anybody I've dated, they would never have said, yeah, she's going to date a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
But then everyone's like, oh, but he's creative. He's this. He was also a comic. So I was like, that was also partially. I was like, But comic once. He did kill Tony in L.A.
Okay.
which I guess is like a big deal. Your first time you do comedy, you do it at the LA Forum, and it's like a
Yeah,
thing.
he must have bombed.
Yeah, I thought he was bad. Everybody else who went and watched the clip said, and I really hope you don't watch this, because we ended very poorly.
Oh, yeah?
And this is like somewhat recent.
Damn.
Like I would say 2 weeks. He didn't choke while he was up there. Like, he got laughs. He was confident when he was speaking,
Okay.
and he got positive feedback. I think he also got positive feedback because it's the first time he ever did comedy. I don't think his comedy is my comedy. It was kind of like whenever I'm in the green room and someone tries to tell me a joke at
boyish.
St. Mark's, it's very boyish. I'm like, I'm not your audience.
Yeah.
And I'll actually never forget, Danny turned around once. He's like, that was the most politically correct way of saying you don't think it's funny.
Honestly, I think that if you can't make women laugh, it's not really that funny. You know, if it's only making dudes laugh, sorry to tell you, I don't think it's that funny. You know, I think good comedy can make anybody laugh. You know.
Well,
But-
yeah. Well, that's where the greats
yeah,
are,
I know,
right?
yeah,
Like,
but we're talking about this guy's first set too.
Yeah.
Let's not tear into it. But
yeah. No. His first
Pretty
time ever.
privileged for your first set to be at a Kill Tony. You know
Had
what
to
I
kill
mean?
Tony in front of thousands of people,
Yeah.
and like honestly, and good luck, Godspeed. I'm sure we'll end up crossing paths because that's my fucking life.
Yeah, but
I
go
tried
on.
to be sober during all that. It was interesting. I was like, it would have been way easier if I was drunk because I would have been quicker of an asshole.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm trying to be more open-minded to people because I think at first I thought I had this like standard. So part of the reason I asked you like, what are you looking for? And I get that you want to be sober first, but I think you still know what you want in a partner or what you're looking for in general or qualities.
Sure.
And I think just generically, I'm looking for communication, accountability. Like if you say you're going to do something, and then effort and appreciation for what I'm willing to do, because I'm like super thoughtful. I like to do things, like I like to bake and do shit like that. Like, and I want you to like appreciate it and accept it. And that's all. It's not crazy qualifications in a partner,
You're like,
but
"That's it?"
dating in New
Yeah.
York City, you never know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like for you, situationship or not, like is like Latina a big thing for you? Does that have to? Do you like that spice? I feel like you
I'm
do.
trying to be more open-minded now. Actually,
Yeah.
Actually, this is the first Latina I've dated in like years.
Okay.
I grew up in Florida, so very much white
Yeah.
girl oriented. Like only serious relationships was with white women.
Okay.
So this is the first time I'm like trying to change it up, you know, switch it up. So
What's the longest relationship you've been in?
4 years.
Okay. Was that high school?
No, college.
Okay.
Yeah. It was on and off, but it was, you know, when we were off, it was like a month max.
Got it.
You know, yeah, no, I'm trying to be more open minded. I think that's a very healthy thing. Like, obviously, if you don't want to do it anymore, you know, no.
Well, no, I
hate in
mean
the
like
game.
open-minded in the sense of like I had jumped to stereotypes on what I thought a tattoo artist would be like, and when he couldn't afford a $10 Uber to come to me, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. If you can't afford a $10
That's
Uber,
crazy.
Like I'm not trying. Like, call me bougie, whatever.
$10.
A $10 Uber. He's like, I
Yeah.
gotta go put money on my card. I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't have multiple cards?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's like, there's just like so many things. I'm like, I don't know, and maybe
No,
that
that's
makes
just
me a bad
standards.
person.
No, that's just standard.
And I don't even think that's a high standard. A $10
Yeah,
Uber.
standard,
I didn't ask for a fucking limo to
Yeah.
roll up and come. It was just.
I really did want to say this thing
Yeah.
though. You're saying like you wanted to be more open minded, and you're saying that when you did these sober dates,
Yeah.
you realized that you didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I think that's a very positive opportunity for you. Like I think it's actually letting you realize how valuable your time is.
100%.
And like how how quickly you can recognize someone that you mesh with. So I think that like some people might hear that and be like, oh, that sucks, you know.
Yeah.
I guess dating sober isn't for you. I think it's a like, if anything, it's just helping you be more aware of what you like,
100%.
of what you want. So to that I say, just shoot more shots. You know what I
Well,
mean?
my question for you is, and I don't know if you've come across this when you've like dated and talked to women. I don't know how much it takes for you. Like, so I have a checklist of like, am I willing to not go to not do a show to go out with this person?
Really?
Am I willing? Well, because my schedule's like nuts. Of like, work is a lot. Client stuff is a lot. Then there's comedy, and then there's like trying to sliver in the friends, right? Trying to do the podcast.
Yeah.
So now it's like is the time? Like, am I willing to give up something else that I know I'm gonna enjoy the output of? And specifically, there are times like, because like, oh, like I can only do Thursday, like Thursday's only gonna work on my side. Like whenever I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, okay, so does that mean I'm not gonna do a show tonight? Like, am I willing to not do a show to go on this date? And then if I go on the date and I'm like, this was not, I would have rather been on stage. Or I would have rather just been in the green room at St. Mark's.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shooting the shit. I don't know if you like, because I noticed that more as I'm being sober, right? If I was drunk, I would have been like, I just want to get laid, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you have like
yeah.
that checklist.
Yeah, I think you're starting to just realize that you have better things to do, you know? And, and I think there's a lot of people that feel like when they're single, they have to be dating. And I know that with women, there's more of like almost time.
I don't want kids.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you don't have the clock. Yeah.
No clock.
Right. But and I think there's beauty in patience, and then just kind of like having a time where you can just, obviously, you know, we all have needs and that happens. But
that's the problem.
Yeah. but like, I think the looking is where it kind of gets a little bit like you take a lot of damage. You know what I mean? When you're looking, because then you're making time and you're setting aside. So you're like, okay, this is a little pocket for possible happiness, but if it fails, now it's ultimate sadness, because not only was it not fun, but I've also missed out on other opportunities. You know what I mean? So I think it's setting up a little bit too much expectation. You know? Yeah. So I'm not trying to.
No, that's fine. I think where I've come to the conclusion of, after, because I'm coming up on 2 years of doing comedy, and it's definitely something I know I want to do.
Yeah.
But the more I get involved in it, the more I'm realizing I may not have I may not date and have a partner and do any of that. It's gonna, like, I'm a horny bitch, so like that's gonna be a problem inevitably.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I don't think if somebody comes in and makes me want to prioritize them over comedy or anything else that I have going on, I want to give that person a shot. I have yet to meet somebody who can do that.
I honest to God, like I feel the same. I think that's just as entertainers and as people who are so good with conversation too. We're very quick, so it takes a lot for someone to match. And yeah, I don't, I think the best thing to do is what I've found to be super helpful is like community, people that I really like vibe with soberly, or you know what I mean, just people that I connect with. And whenever I really feel lonely, like it's not even just like horny, it's just like I want someone to talk to. Yeah. And like I can just tell them that I'm not okay. Yeah. You know, because I feel like I did that a lot with my beginning relationships when I was drinking, is that I would just like use them as emotional support beams. Yeah. Literally. Like they were integral to my like sanity. And I realized that I don't have to be sexually intimate with someone to have that. Oh no. I can have like real relationships of substance if I put in the time. So I think a good thing to do proactively is to make stronger relationships with people and tell them, hey, you're someone that really matters to me, and you've been very helpful in just my day-to-day when I'm not having a good day. So, and like check up on them and like call, you know what I mean? Because I think that is a huge part of the loneliness. Like, it's a huge part, because I think I felt that right when I started getting sober. I was like, I need to date. I need someone to like lay on my chest, and I can just be like, yeah, I'm just not happy. You know,
It's not okay right
yeah,
now.
yeah, I'm just really sad. You know, and just be the most ultimate fuckboy
Yeah.
because that's what I needed. But it's we don't need to have that sexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
part.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think it's just patience, and I think when we are patient and we're not looking, that's when you meet the person that's like, oh damn,
Oh, shit.
yeah.
I mean, that's what everybody says. It's so cliche.
I know it
And
is, but a lot of it, I mean, it's
Well, I mean, if it's happened for you, at least I know people that it's happened for, I guess. I'm just in this camp of like, but Alfonso, thank you so much for being here. This has
was
been so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
You want to plug some shit?
Yeah, for sure. I have one called Hot Chips Comedy that I co-produce with Elisa Brown, and it's a lot of fun. It's where minorities are the majority in terms of the comedians that are on the lineup, and then we also have one special comedian to eat the super spicy chip, and they do 5 minutes of comedy and try to make people laugh. So it's a lot of fun. I also have a show called Talking Tacos where I go around New York and I try to find the most authentic taco because a lot of West Coasters like to talk a lot of trash
Yeah.
on tacos, but there are some really good taquerias here in New York, and I'm out there finding them. So that's on my YouTube, Alfanso Hernandez NYC, on all platforms.
Woo.
And yeah, thank you so much for having me,
Amazing.
Julie.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
It
Thanks,
was
guys.
really
Like,
great.
comment, questions.